game now. There's a lot to break down, so let's send it over to Jat and his magical screen of knowledge.
Magical.
There's so much knowledge in the screen. It's just pouring out of it. But really, the game itself was about 25 minutes of stuff that's not very fun to analyze, and then a whole bunch of fun stuff within the next 4 minutes. So really crazy. I want to go back to kind of where it all begun, which is TSM's first big teamfight victory. And here, TSM is going to be on the retreat. We can actually roll this straight off the bat because Cloud9 sees finally their opportunity to take down TSM because they think TSM is a little bit low, and Lissandra isn't necessarily in the picture. But the reason TSM wins this is because they all turn at the same time. Pause it right here. Svenskeren saw the opportunity, and the main reason this worked is it was coordinated with the rest of the team. So he gets a 4-man flash knockup on Rek'Sai, which is pretty insane considering the radius of that knockup is about 160 around the model. So the fact that he got that knockup sets TSM up for success in this fight. Rolling it a little bit more slowly, you can see Lissandra coming in on the claw and then getting even more AoE damage in, as well as Bjergsen following up with Lissandra AoE. So at this point, since Cloud9's team is a mix of really strong frontline tanks and weak backline damage dealers, the fact that they were all caught in the same clump invalidated the Cloud9 tank line and allowed TSM to roll through the fight very easily. Doublelift on the backside as well does a lot of damage, even though it's Bjergsen who picks up the kills. And this was what started all of the craziness. We know they covered it on the caster desk. It was really nuts. I would say it's probably Doublelift's best game as a TSM team member. Over 1,000 damage per minute in that fight, which, you know, props to Doublelift, who, by the way, is sitting with Dash and Bjergsen on the analyst desk. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Jat. I am standing by with Doublelift and Bjergsen after that very nice win there. As Jat mentioned, there was about 25 minutes of that game where most of us as viewers were sitting there kind of watching it balance on a knife's edge and really unsure of which way that game was going to fall. So this is where I turn to you, Bjergsen, as the team has been improving, figuring out your synergy, working out the shot calling and all of that. How did you feel the team operated in a game in which there was a lot of that back and forth, trading turrets and inhibs and whatnot?
It played very much unlike any scrim, so it's mostly about how you can adapt on stage and how you can adapt to how the game is going. There was one point where we just kind of slowed down, and Peter and Bora were like, all right, we need to rethink what we're doing, and that's where we really started to actually make some of our own plays rather than just reacting to what C9 was doing.
Speaking of which, Doublelift, your performance in that game was pretty phenomenal. 7-1-5, as Jat mentioned, over 1,000 damage per minute, 29,000 damage in a 28-minute game. So absolutely insane statistics. That's got to feel good coming in week 3 here as the team continues to ramp up. And I've spoken to you before about where you felt the team was lacking in and where you could improve most. You felt synergy. Now that your individual performance is there, do you feel like that's a byproduct of improved synergy within the team?
Yeah, I think every week we're improving. Just like we have focal points for, you know, depending on the meta and depending on the week, like what we're gonna do. And at some point it's gonna be everyone's turn. You know, like last week Concert was super beast. First week I think Soren was like carrying most of the games, and like today I played pretty well. But everyone's capable of putting up good individual performances on the team. That's why that's what makes our team so good, I think.
So then talk to me a little bit about the draft. Looking at this draft, in my head, I was saying I'm satisfied with both of these compositions. It's very clear what Cloud9 wanted to do. 2 tank line, lots of poke. They're looking to siege turrets and take them down. On your guys' side, had enough engage with Lissandra and Rek'Sai, plenty of team fight power. It's just about execution at this point, you know. And so that's where I come back to you, Bjergsen. What do you feel in relation to Doublelift's response with the fact that anybody can carry at any time, that empowers you to do in Champ Select, to create many different types of team comps?
It's just a lot easier because we can draft, like you said, pretty much any team comp. And in this game, pretty much just anyone can carry. You know, Victor, Lucian, both super high damage dealers. Lissandra, she can take over the game by split pushing and flanking and engaging. And just the comp really came down to how well we could execute these fights. If we fight them straight up, like Jat said, they have the tanky front line and they have the strong back line. So we need to be creating chaos and we need to be getting as much AoE damage down. That's how we won the team fights.
Now, both of these teams, we ran a feature leading up to it, are teams that are expected to have lots of expectation in the NA/LCS, right? We've seen Cloud9 and TSM in the majority of the finals since Cloud9 joined the league. And both teams are going through a slight rebuilding phase. We've got Rush and High moving to support for Cloud9. We've got, just you, Bjergsen, plus 4 new additions on TSM. So both of these teams are going through some growing pains. How have you been dealing with the pressure, and what do you feel the expectation is this season as compared to past?
The expectations are obviously really high, but I feel like Immortals doing so well kind of puts the spotlight on them and kind of gives us some time to everyone feels like, or a lot of people feel like Immortals is the best team in NA. They've been doing extremely well. It kind of lets us just focus on ourselves and take it a little bit slower, and I think it took a little bit of pressure off the team.
Fabulous. Now, Doublelift, you're somebody who's moving into this expectation of TSM, and you guys have been improving quite a bit. But what would you pinpoint are the main factors of the successes of both of these organizations, Cloud9 and TSM, the reasons why people have such high expectations?
I think it builds on itself. So when I joined TSM, it's a team that has a reputation of winning and being the best. So, I mean, even though I came off of an LCS win, coming into TSM, there's so much pressure because if I come in and the team does poorly, then it's like, oh, well, what changed? Now I'm on the team, so maybe I'm the reason why we suck. And that pressure is like good fuel. It's super good motivation for everyone on the team to want to play super hard and practice harder than everyone else. Because you don't want to be the reason why this organization's been around for 5 years and always been winning, stops winning. And so, yeah, I guess the ultimate goal of TSM is always just to be a winning machine. And that's what I'm aiming to do. Being a winning machine is a good machine. I was watching TSM Legends, and I saw the conversation kind of around. Reggie was talking about the success of Cloud9 when they brought High back in and all of their Baron control. Well, this game came down to a couple kind of ballsy Baron calls by Cloud9 in which you guys were able to get in there, disrupt, and take winning team fights off of it. I want to get your opinion around Baron play in this season, as the games seem to have been accelerated a little bit. We have faster games this season. So just as an objective, Baron, how much does it play into wins? Is this the kind of thing that can be abused the way it was by C9 in the summer split?
I feel like Baron is mostly depending on how passive the enemy team is playing. If they're not contesting the vision, they're just sitting on their towers, Baron becomes an easy objective to take, which is also why we see sometimes in Korea they really prioritize the Dragon because the games are so slow. But if the game is more fast-paced, it's hard to get a Baron, and a Baron can easily lose a game. Just like us against Immortals or even C9, we managed to pick up a few kills. But if you can really master the Baron rush, if C9 had maybe killed Baron 3 seconds faster, they would have all been out. And that can really determine a win or a loss.
All right, well, tomorrow you guys are up against Energy. So this is a pretty big weekend for you, Cloud9 into Energy. Of the rest of the teams, you've already played Immortals at the top of the list right now. Energy is the one. Doublelift, thoughts on that team, as they're also one that's kind of come together recently. It's been a makeshift roster for the first week, and now they're kind of coming into their own with Impact and GBM.
Yeah, I think Impact, GBM, and Altec are pretty good. Conquan and Moon, they're new, so I feel like the expectation on Energy from the community was like, oh, they're going to be amazing coming in, but they have 2 rookies who will be really easy to abuse early game. So I'm definitely not afraid of Energy. I think this game was really difficult on us, and Energy will be easier.
Also, just a minor thing, and most likely misclick. Were you aware that Yellowstar had Thunderlords on Janna in that game?
Yeah, I noticed at level 1, and I was like, I didn't want to say anything because it's kind of rude.
Yeah, well, I mean, it worked out anyway, but we were sitting here hypothesizing, going is it really that he really wanted that lane down? There's no way. There's no way Wind Speakers is not what you want to take there on Janna. Well, regardless, gentlemen, congratulations on the victory today. Best of luck in your game tomorrow. Now we're going to step away, but meet us back here in a few minutes for our next bout, Team Liquid versus Energy. Now, as we head to break, High shows us that he's a great shot caller, even if he doesn't always do his homework.
It could be Lysandre top.
Yeah, who's this one on their team? Is it Turtle? Do we cheese him?
Turtle's on the team. Turtle is not on their team, dude.
Oh, shit.
Hold on.
Oh, that's no blast. No, Balls goes down. He comes in with Jensen. A little bit of false sense of security.
Okay, I can go. I flash. I'm on this.
I'm near Sargent,
Corky. Corky. Nice.
Brown.
Chase him. Don't go too fast. Nice. Good time.
He's going for broke, but he actually relentless pursuits out. The minions are coming in. It's Bjergsen with the upgraded auto attacks. One more. TSM will make it happen. They take down Cloud9.